I want you to close your eyes for a moment. I want you to imagine lying in a hospital bed. Your hair is gone. Your body is fighting something you cannot see. Every morning you wake up and you are not sure if today is a good day or a bad day, and you have learned, slowly and painfully, that the difference between those two things is smaller than you ever thought possible. Now I want you to imagine that the one person you believed was holding your world together while you fought was busy building a new one, without you. My name is Grace. I was 43 years old when I was diagnosed with breast cancer. Stage 2, the kind of diagnosis that splits your life into before and after. That makes every ordinary Tuesday you ever complained about feel like something sacred. You didn't know you were living. My husband, Robert, held my hand in the doctor's office that day. He drove me home in silence. He made me tea and sat beside me on the couch and said, "We are going to fight this together, every single day. I am not going anywhere." I believed him with everything I had left. Because when you are terrified, truly, deeply terrified, you hold on to the people who promise to stay. You have no choice. You need them too much to question them. Robert was my anchor, my constant, the person who drove me to chemotherapy, appointments, and held the bowl. When I was sick afterward and told me I was still beautiful when I had no hair and hollow eyes and couldn't recognize the person in the mirror. He said all the right things, every single time. But what I didn't know, what I could not have imagined from that hospital bed, was that somewhere between my first chemotherapy session and my last, my husband had found someone to fill the space my illness had left in his life. And the person who told me was my 12-year-old daughter. Her name is Lily. She has her father's eyes and my stubborn heart, and she is, without question, the reason I fought as hard as I did. On a Tuesday evening in November, 8 months into my treatment, Lily came into my bedroom and sat on the edge of my bed. I was having a bad day, the kind where movement hurts and light hurts and the effort of existing feels like climbing something with no top. She sat very still for a moment. Then she took my hand. "Mom," she said, "I need to tell you something. And I need you to know that I tried to pretend I didn't know, but I can't anymore." I looked at my 12-year-old daughter and felt my heart slow down. "Tell me," I said. She told me everything, quietly, carefully, the way children tell hard truths, with a precision that breaks your heart because they have clearly been carrying it alone for a long time. She had seen messages on Robert's phone 3 months earlier. She had seen a name, a woman named Claire, appearing again and again with words that no 12-year-old should have to read and understand and then carry silently because she didn't want to hurt her sick mother. She had watched her father leave the house on evenings, he said. He was going to the pharmacy. She had watched him take calls in the garage with the door closed. She had watched him sit beside me in the hospital and hold my hand and say all the right things, and then come home and disappear into a private world she was not allowed to enter. For 3 months, my 12-year-old daughter had protected me from the truth because she was afraid it would make me sicker. When she finished talking, she looked at me with eyes that were too old for her face and said, "I'm sorry, Mom, I didn't know what to do." I pulled her into my arms, and I held her for a very long time. And I made her a promise in that moment, quietly, into her hair, with a voice that did not shake even though everything inside me was shaking. "You did the right thing, and I am going to be okay. I promise you, I'm going to be okay." That night, after Lily was asleep, I lay in the dark for a long time. The grief was enormous, not just for the betrayal, but for the image of my daughter sitting alone with that knowledge for 3 months, protecting me, absorbing something no child should ever have to absorb. And underneath the grief, slowly, quietly, like a fire catching in the dark, was something else. Strength, the kind that has nothing left to lose. I had fought cancer for 8 months. I had woken up on days when my body felt like it was made of broken glass and chosen to keep going. I had stared at the worst thing I could imagine and refused to look away. Robert had no idea what kind of woman he had underestimated. I did not confront Robert that night, or the next morning. I called my sister. I called my lawyer, a woman I had used years ago for a property matter and whose number I had never deleted. And I called my doctor, who confirmed something I needed to know before I made any decisions. My prognosis was good, better than good. I was going to survive, and surviving, I had decided, was going to look very different from what Robert had planned. Over the next 3 weeks, I built the case quietly. Lily had shown me the messages. I had photographed them carefully. A friend had seen Robert and Claire at a restaurant on an evening, he told me. He was visiting his brother. She was willing to confirm it in writing. My lawyer was thorough and precise and looked at me across her desk with an expression of such clear, focused anger on my behalf that I nearly cried. Nearly. I confronted Robert on a Sunday morning. Lily was at my sister's house. The house was quiet. I sat across from him at the kitchen table, the same table where he had held my hand and told me we would fight this together, and I placed a single folder in front of him. He looked at it, then at me. Grace. I know everything, I said. I have known for 3 weeks. I used those 3 weeks the same way. I have used every hard thing in my life. I prepared. He tried. He used every word they always use. Lonely, scared, didn't know how to handle it, wasn't thinking clearly. I let him finish, every word. I had learned patience in a chemotherapy chair. I could certainly manage patience at my own kitchen table. Then I said, our daughter carried this alone for 3 months. To protect me. A 12-year-old child did what you, her father, could not. She chose me. Remember that. I slid the folder across the table. My lawyer's number is on top. Robert moved out 3 weeks later. The divorce was not easy. Nothing real ever is. But it was fair. And it was mine. Every decision, every step, made from a place of complete clarity. I finished my final treatment in February. The results came back clean. I stood in the hospital corridor afterward. The same corridor I had walked through so many times in the previous year, and I felt something I had not felt in a very long time. Completely, entirely, overwhelmingly free. Lily held my hand on the way home. She is 13 now. She knows more about strength than most adults I have ever met, because she learned it the hard way. At 12 years old, sitting on the edge of her sick mother's bed and choosing truth over comfort. I am healing, in every sense of that word. And Robert, living a smaller, quieter life now, lost the woman who would have moved mountains for him. He just didn't know it until she was already gone. Here is what cancer and betrayal and a 12-year-old's brave voice taught me. The people who leave you when you are at your weakest reveal something essential about themselves, and the people who stay, even when staying is the hardest thing, reveal something essential about love. My husband replaced me while I was fighting for my life. Our daughter told me everything, and I survived both.